Okay, I'm live. Okay, I'll be on in just a bit. I'm just gonna mess around just a tiny bit longer, then I will definitely start. Before I literally find a new skip right now. The only problem is I have encountered problems. You know, we're slightly behind schedule, so I just thought, why not just mess around just for a tiny bit, just to show you what this game's like before, you know, I start running. Like, just doing a random thing, which you won't see in the run. Well, you can get on these. I didn't get on that one, but I could have. Most definitely. Okay. I think that's enough messing around. Hi everyone. I'm SuperSqank, and I am a guy who plays children's video games on the PS2 and Xbox. And this is one of the many games I run. Ratchet and Clank going Commando. Okay, all good. And hi everyone, and thanks for good luck everyone who's given me good luck. But I'll be on in just a bit. Timing is kind of awkward in this run because it starts as soon as, you know, the screen fades to black. The timing starts as soon as the screen fades to black. But I'm gonna just do my countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time starts now. Okay, so as I said, this is Ratchet and Clank going Commando. This is the second Ratchet and Clank video game, which is the sequel to the original Ratchet and Clank, of course. And this is the all platinum bolts category. What we do in this category is that we collect all of the platinum bolts, and there's a grand total of 40. You're not going to see any platinum bolts for a while, but they will come. So we start the game off with 2 weapons, because after all, this marathon's all about shooting stuff. We've got a gun and a bomb, basically. So you use the lancer to shoot people, and use the bomb to blow people up. I should really say creatures and robots, because you don't really kill people in this game, but whatever, really. So this first level's pretty straightforward. There's a couple of little optimizations we can do, but there's not really much to it. We just shoot enemies, and that's about it. This game has a lot of movement, although the only thing I'm doing right now is called a macaroni. If I jump and side flip in a certain way, I'll gain more speed. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's something that exists. So, upcoming next, I'm going to attempt to do a skip, a little cutscene skip, can't even speak right now, which saves like a second if you get it, but I almost never get it, and it's fine. Saves like a second, maybe a little bit more. And there's just a little bit more of this hallway, and we are done with the first level. With a grand total of 0 platinum bolts collected. Oh wait, I don't have slits. Whoops. So I accidentally clicked my keyboard because splits, but I don't have any. So the next planet is Uzla. This level has platinum bolts, although we're not going to get them right now. We're going to get them later when we've got some more equipment. Because it's fast to go back to this level rather than get the stuff now. So we're mostly going to be using the Lancer at the beginning of the run. We're going to use the bomb a little bit more later on. But for now we're just mostly using the Lancer. We're eventually going to get a few more weapons, although not very many. This game has a ton of weapons, but you don't really need to get many more than what you already have. You collect the decoy glove, where you just throw a decoy of yourself, and you can distract enemies with it. Although it has much more useful properties, which you're going to see later on in the run. And there's also the Sheepinator, which turns enemies into sheep, and it's helpful for killing some of the bosses really quickly. Here's a little skip. We're supposed to do a little dynamo puzzle, but we can skip that by doing this. This is dumb, but it's something that exists. There's no way to do it, but I like to do it like that, because that's the faster way. I'm just going to kill a few more enemies, just to get some more experience. So how this game works is that there's a leveling up system for your guns. So you have your weapons, and the more you use them, the more experience you get. And once you get enough experience, you'll get an upgraded version of that weapon, which is more powerful. And for the two weapons we have now, we want that to happen. But it happens in due time. It doesn't happen immediately. Spiders. There is a weapon in this game where you get to control a spider, but we never need it. You do use it to collect a couple of platinum bolts, but we can get those platinum bolts without the spider bot glove. So here we have the first ship level, called Parsh Nebula. What you do in this level is that you've got to shoot ships. So this level definitely has a lot of shooting in it. The only thing is that this level is incredibly stupid. Like, you gotta try to shoot these ships in the distance, and it's just dumb. I'm really bad at these, to be completely honest. Like, there are other runners who are much better at these than I am. But I've always been terrible at these for one reason or another. So what I just do is I try and fly my ship around and I try and shoot all the enemies. There's not really much to say about these other than you just got to predict where the enemies are going to go and you just got to shoot them whenever you can. And the goal is to kill the enemies as fast as possible. I never do these very fast. Like, my gold is like 10 seconds behind like the best any percent runners. Which just shows how bad I am at these. So phase 2 is a little bit faster, but it's still kind of dumb and annoying. Where these ships spawn depend on where the position of your ship initially is after you beat the first wave. So you just fly around, shoot ships, pretty basic stuff. This is pretty slow. Can't even shoot a single ship, and that's really annoying when that happens. So that was the first ship segment, and it went absolutely terribly. Like, these are the few places where I just cannot save time, no matter how hard I try. Like, I just gotta pray that it goes well. But there's this next level in Darko. I mean, as great as that game is, it doesn't have as many guns as this game, and you very rarely shoot in that game. I mean, I submitted it to the last shots fired, but it didn't get in, and I didn't submit it to this one, because I didn't think it'd get in this one either, because it's not really a shooting game. This game at least has weapons as its main mechanic. So yeah, this is Macton Nebula, this is another platforming stage, and this is where we collect our first platinum bolt, which is pretty exciting. There are two in this level, although we only get one of them for now. We get the second one later when we return to this planet. So if you're lucky, you can get on that first step of that ladder. It's hard to explain, but you can get on the first part of the ladder and you can skip an extra jump. Saves like a second, but I almost never get it. So yes, that is our first platinum bolt. And for some reason, after you collect that platinum bolt, there's usually a graphical glitch where the textures just are really messy. Didn't happen to me this time. I don't know what causes it, but it's a thing that happens. So I thought I might as well mention it. I'm breaking a lot of boxes, not only because I want ammo, but it's also because I want bolts. Bolts aren't that important in this category, like you get most of the bolts you need throughout the run, but you do need to be a little bit careful when it comes to collecting bolts. Like, you don't need a defined bolt route, you just got to collect the bolts. So. Hi there, Snowy Fluff. So here we have our first arena, and our only arena. There are 2 of these in the game, but you skip the second one. So what you do in this arena, you just got to shoot all the enemies. Pretty simple stuff. The enemies are on set cycles, so it doesn't matter too much if you kill them slowly. You do have to be cautious though, because the last guys come out in a set cycle. Only the last guys. The other guys aren't really much of a threat. Yeah, and I've only got 1 platinum bolt. If you think 1 platinum bolt is strong, just wait till you see the other 39. But we slowly collect platinum bolts throughout the run. Some planets are pretty similar to what they are in any percent, at least in the early game. Although some planets do have significant divergence to collect the platinum bolt. The second half of the game, however, is the first half of this category is pretty similar to any percent. But then once we reach Dobbo 1, it completely changes. Like, it just turns into a completely different category compared to any percent. Thanks, Nano. Hollow dice. Nano's a pretty cool dude. So yeah, that is Mactar Nebula done. Pretty simple planet. Next up we have Endako. Endako's an interesting planet because it's the first planet where we get Clank. We get Clank in this planet, and Clank is pretty cool. He lets us go faster and do some cool stuff. I'm not sure if it's theoretically possible to skip him, but we don't skip him because that's slow. Even if it was possible. Which I'm not sure if it is. But that doesn't matter. The point is, we get Clank, and Clank is overpowered. Thanks, Peter. I really like my FFCs. So here I'm going to do this thing called Crane's Room Skip, because normally you're supposed to do an exerciser puzzle and use this crane, but you can skip that by doing that. And I took way too much health trying to do that. I usually take like 1 or 2 hits, but I took 3. Like, you get hit so that you can jump up the thing and skip the crane, but I took 2 extra hits, which is kind of annoying. But hopefully that's not going to be a problem, and then I won't be happy. That guy died nice and fast, so I can get the health. So it's really good. I'm not doing GILJs. I'm not a Taz. But for anyone who doesn't know, a GILJ is a ground infinite long jump, and it's basically a whole string of basically frame perfect inputs, and it's pretty much Taz only. It's not really important in the context of this run. I mean, a tool assisted speedrun in this game would have tons of GILJs, but this isn't a tool assisted speedrun, so no GILJs for you, sadly. I mean, I get crane room skip first try almost all the time. Although, last night I actually missed it, and I was like so shocked that I missed it. Well, not last night, but 2 nights ago. So that crane room you cannot skip, like you have to use that crane. First off to open the door, second off to move the platform in the correct spot, and third off to open this door and collect the platinum bolt. I used to miss this bolt all the time when I first started running this category, but I never miss it anymore. Like, I would break open the door like I'm supposed to, but I wouldn't actually get the bolt. So that is definitely something. So you just kill those guys. And as you can see, I've nearly leveled up this Lancer, which is pretty cool. And leveling up the Lancer is really helpful, because it not only gives you more ammo, but it's also a lot more powerful, and it helps out with the next boss. Which is in this level, conveniently enough. So here we have our first Clank section. There are I think there's like 3 in the whole game. We skip one of them. But this is the first Clank section. You play as Clank. He's a bit slow. He doesn't have any weapons, sadly. But that doesn't matter, because you got these little robots. These gadget bots are here to help you kill all the enemies. So what you do, you just get them out. You get them to attack your enemies. Easy. There's also some other bots you can use, like the bridge bot builds a bridge, and the lifter bot lifts open that thing. There's also a hammer bot you'll see later on in the run when I reach the next Clank section, which is a lot later on in the run. So we get this lifter bot, and we get him to lift this thing. And these sections are pretty simple. There's nothing really advanced you can do in them. If you jump along a wall, you can speed up, but there's not much besides that. Like, these are pretty simple. And that should be the end of the first Clank section. If you're really unlucky, one of those gadget bots will block the door and you'll have to die because, you know, they'll be blocking the entrance and they'll never get out of the way. And they didn't get a single ledge grab skip. Feels bad, man. But now we have Clank, and that's a really good thing, because we can do some cool stuff with Clank. We're not going to do that much cool stuff with him in this level, but he lets us move a lot faster. Let's just say that. And that's something you'll notice even in this level. Didn't even get that ammo. That was dumb. I think that movement was pretty bad, but we're going to collect our second platinum bolt in this planet in just a while, just a little bit. You kill these dudes, just get their bolts. Like, you get 3 bolts, so while bolts aren't super important, and you don't have to grind hard for them, you still have to collect them. So you got to be cautious with your bolts, because you do need a lot of bolts in this run. There's some little things we do to collect some extra bolts to help us out later on in the run. Because you just get a ton of free bolts. And thank you for the good luck. So I leveled this gun up a tiny bit later than I usually would, but it's no big deal. I don't usually kill them with the nuke, but I decided why not. I usually don't just finish this boss, have loads. I decided to break him this time because I don't know. So this boss is pretty simple, you just jump around and shoot him. There's nothing hard about this boss. Like, he takes away half your health if you get hit by him, but you just got. But as long as you're careful, you won't die from him. And now we have the swing shot, which is a pretty cool thing. We cannot skip the swing shot in this category. so we do have to collect it. But there's some cool stuff we can do with the swing shot. Alright, so the next level is Maktar again. We're going back to Maktar. And we're going back to Maktar to the next section. Now the reason why we go to Endako is A, to get the platinum bolts, and B, to collect Clank and the swing shot, which are essential things for this run. In other categories you don't have to go to Endako, but in this category and any percent you do. An off-topic question. I'm completely fine with off-topic questions. I am intrigued to hear what it is. But bring on any questions you like. So, because I'll answer most questions. So right there I collected another platinum bolt. And this planet unlocks Barlow. Once you do this you unlock Barlow, which is the next planet mandatory to the story. Now, Endako isn't needed for story progression because you don't actually collect any planets going there, which is why we're able to skip it in other categories. Because you don't go there to progress the story, you just go there to collect some essential things, which we can skip in the New Game Plus categories. So this section's pretty simple, you just shoot enemies. There's not really much to say about this place. And what I did was Maktar 2 skip. I really should have explained that, but I basically skipped a lot of stuff. Because normally you have to go back to Uza and collect this thing called the... I forgot what it's called. But it lets you drag things around. I'll get it later on in the run. Because you need it later on in the run. But basically you have to get that in Uza, and then you need to do a long section Maktar Nebula, but due to the skip I did, you don't have to do any of that. So, it's definitely a cool thing, it saves a few minutes, most definitely. It's just that I'm so used to doing these skips, I forget that they're even skips. So it's just crazy. Ah, tractor beam. Oh yeah, tractor beam. I am going to get the tractor beam later, but... and you know you're supposed to have it now, but... I don't need it now. I do need it later for this category, and I will go back to Uza to get it. But only once I've got another gadget, which is completely going to change the run, once I get it. So now that we're done with Maktar, we have to do this jump. Normally a bridge would appear if you do Maktar normally, but since I didn't do Maktar normally, I just skip all of that. So that's nice and easy. So that's that done. I think I'm like half a minute behind my PB, maybe? So now we're going to Barlow. Yeah, I know what they're called fast. I just haven't mentioned them yet. But there are these things called the charge boots. I'm going to get them a lot later on in the planet Jobber. And they're going to change the run. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is that they're completely broken. And another thing about them, which I'm going to mention now, this is the North American Black Label version of the game. The reason why we play this version is because it's the fastest. Because you can do a lot of cool stuff in this version that you cannot do in the other versions. The PAL version has slower charge boots, and that's the main problem with that version. And the problem with like the Greatest Hits version and the Japanese version, / Korean version, is that they heavily change the charge boots, which heavily affects the run. And it pretty much affects every other category apart from any percent. And that also applies to the PS3 version, except the PS3 version has even more flaws, which make it worse. I'm not sure how clear I was by explaining that, but the main thing you need to know is that the North American Black Label version is the fastest. because you can do a whole bunch of skips that you can't do in the other versions. Well, mainly glitches, which allow you to do more skips. So right here I buy the decoy glove. It's not really that useful for killing enemies, but it allows you to distract enemies, which is useful in places, and you can clip through walls with it, which, as you can imagine, is pretty helpful. And it's also going to heavily help us once we get the charge boots, but that's going to happen later on. The decoy glove really helps to break the charge boots. So here we have our first race, the Barlow race. There's another race in Jolbar, and that's conveniently the race that gives us the charge boots. But how these races work is that you race around the track, you collect boosts, don't lose the boosts. It's pretty simple, really. And there's not really much to say about these races. Like, you just race around and try and go through all the boosts. There is a platinum bolt in this race, though, which I'm going to collect in this lap. It is slower to get it in lap 1, because there are enemies in front of you who can block you, but that's not a problem in lap 2 and 3. So I just wait till lap 2 to get the bolt. And that's all the bolts collected in Barlow. So you're pretty much going to see the same thing in these races again. You're just going to see me cutting corners and collecting boosts. It's not fast to collect every single. It's fast to get most of them. Like, that boost is slower to get, so we just cut that corner. Now we're on to the final lap. Not really much to say about the final lap. Other than it's pretty much the same as the other laps. You can't get any more than 3 boosts. The maximum amount of boosts you can get is 3. Yo, there's a shift sub in my chat. That's pretty interesting. Welcome, shift sub. Ricky. Ah, you're sub to shift, Ricky. Nice. That's interesting. So that's Barlow done. In every other category, we just do the race. We don't do anything else. We don't like I did before. And that's Barlow done. Next up, we have another flying level, Felsen. And like I said, I'm really bad at the flying levels. And the annoying thing about this flying level is that this level went really well in my PB. But that's the annoying thing. Like, I golded by like 10 seconds in my PB, and I usually lose at least half a minute here. So that's going to be fun. Although, since I'm not running for PB, it's not a big deal. But it is something worth mentioning. This was really smooth in my PB. And it started off and it feels like the start off is decent. Although that means nothing in the long run. So we have missiles, and we can just use these missiles to kill some of these guys faster. Like, they're homing on enemies, which is helpful. Like, I feel like this is really bad now. Like, some people say this is RNG, other people say it's skill. I think it's both. Because there's no way that these ships move in a consistent pattern. Also, the amount of rare titanium you get is also RNG. And oh yeah, there's rare titanium. Like, you collect rare titanium and it lets you buy ship upgrades. You let us buy more ship upgrades. Well, basically, we're going to use a glitch to buy ship upgrades for a lower price than we're supposed to. I don't actually know how much rare titanium I have, because I honestly don't usually pay attention. Like, the minimum you need is 10, although ideally you want like 18. Yeah, this is bloomin' terrible. Because you want to kill all these ships before the music loops. Probably gonna lose close to a minute compared to my people. Half a minute at best. No, please, ship, die! It's annoying when the last ship takes like a million seconds to kill. Maybe there is RNG manipulation. Maybe you are right about that. The point is, I refuse to believe that there is no RNG in the ship sections. And I think I have 20 rare titanium, so that's good. Yeah, I have 20. Like, the minimum you need is 10. Although you ideally want some more rare titanium to get a few more upgrades. Like, we do have to revisit Felton. Because, with the exception of Whoopash, every ship level has 4 missions, and the 4th mission is a race where you have to fly through rings, and if you fly through all the rings, you get a platinum bolt. And the reason why I'm not doing, and I'm not doing those missions now, because I'm going to buy upgrades first, which make those missions a million times faster. I'm not sure. My bitrate seems to be fine, so I guess it's just the connection that's coming off. Oh my goodness, that is a really dumb glitch. Sometimes you collect for no reason, which makes that death slow. Like, that gives you a slow and painful death, which is not what you want. Like, when you die in this game, you want to die fast. I know that's not the nicest thing to say, but there's a lot of death abuses in this game where we just death warp. And you know, when you death warp, you want to warp as fast as possible. You don't want the enemies to take a million years to kill you. So you do have to be careful. This is... upcoming next is our first instance of decoy clipping. Usually we're supposed to use the dynamo to open up this door, but it's faster to just clip through it. The clip's kind of stupid though. Come on. I either get this first try or I spend like half a minute trying to get it. Like, usually, like, I hate it when I spend like a million years trying to clip. Because it's usually easy. Like, oh my goodness, why isn't it even letting me place decoys now? I'm just gonna kill these dudes because, honestly... What the heck? One of them's still alive! This is probably the slowest I've ever done this clip. Like, I've spent, like, close to a minute trying to do it in the past. What is going on? I don't know. There we go. I thought the clip isn't usually that hard. And for some reason, that ship kills you like 90% of the time. It's dumb. And that's the time when you don't want to die. Oh my goodness, I messed up movement. There's some cool movement you can do here, but it's hard. Come on, let me switch my things. That clip is just stupid. Like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. Here's the thing about me with certain dumb skips in games. I either get them first try, or I get them like the millionth try. And that especially happens in this game. So that's our first instance of using bolts, and I'm really high on bolts right now, which isn't a bad thing at all. So I'm going to place a decoy here, just because it lets me jump out this thing early, which lets me get in the ship faster. Saves like 10 seconds. Now we're going to the ship shack. I'm gonna do something called the ship shack glitch. So what I'm gonna do is an item I can't afford. Then I'm gonna start highlight an item which I can afford, and then it will let me have the item which I cannot afford. Okay, what am I doing? So right there, I bought the nuke. You're supposed to have 60 raritanium to get it, but with the ship shack glitch, you can get them for like 5 raritanium. By first off selecting the nuke that you cannot buy, and then selecting the wings, which only cost 5 raritanium. And for some reason, it buys your old weapon. It's impossibly hard in the PS3 version, but it's really easy in like the PS2 versions. So this nuke basically lets us kill every enemy in this level instantly, which is really nice. We'd have to spend like ages killing them. So the nuke lets us save like 3 minutes in this level. Maybe even more. So that's why we backtrack this level. Like, yes, we lose like 20 seconds of load times, but that doesn't matter when you save way more time revisiting the planet. Like, we only revisit planets where it's faster to revisit them. And there are other planets we could technically revisit, but we don't because it's slow. Like, we'd only revisit them if I was stupid enough to forget a bolt. These race missions are really hard when you first play the game. Like, casually these challenges are a nightmare, but for me they're not too bad, because I've played them like a million times and I know exactly where the rings are. So next up is Siberius, which is this game's ice level. So there's not really any ice, it's just snow. So, for the first time in the run, I'm going to buy ammo. And I seriously wasted all my decoys, when usually I'd only need, like, 2. Okay, get up there. Thanks. I don't usually upgrade to the nuke. I usually don't upgrade the nuke this early, but I did, so that's pretty cool. I can't remember what's wrong with them in those versions. Wait, what? That sounds really dumb. The PS3 ports for these Ratchet games are not the best. Like, Ratchet 1 is way faster in PS3. Because not only the load time's like a million times faster, and all the skips work, but it also has a couple of exclusive glitches, especially the PAL PS3 version. Wait, I don't even need the nuke here. Give me the health. I'm losing way too much right now. that section's stupid, because sometimes you drown in the air. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, but when you swing up that one hyper shot thing, a part of that is mud. I don't know why, but a part of it is technically mud that you can sink in. Like, I don't know why, it's just dumb. So this level only has 2 platinum bolts, which are pretty easy to get. Now coming next is our second boss, which we've already been fighting, but we're going to continue to fight it. We start off by shooting him with the nuke because it deals him a decent amount of damage, and it makes the boss a little bit faster. We just jump around at the end so that you don't shoot the bots. This level's pretty easy. Yeah, these games are pretty well made. I can't argue with that. It's not like these games are full of glitches and stuff. The only version, the load times are a lot. Theoretically makes it faster for any percent, but it's also complicated since Ship Shack glitch is so hard on PS3. And it has even more flaws than the greatest hits version. For example, there's this clip in Bolden that you cannot do on PS3, and that is detrimental for this category. It's complete control. Because not only do you have to do a completely different route on PS3, but you also have to revisit Bolden, which you don't in this version. I should have bought ammo, but I didn't. So I just gotta hope that I get good ammo in this level. So right now we have to collect some crystals. Like, it's not very hard. Now that was just stupid. That was just ridiculous. Unfortunately, I ran out of ammo, which is really bad, because I kind of need to shoot this guy to death. And then I just death warp. But after this planet is where the exciting part of the run begins. Well, not the exciting part, but the lead up to the exciting part. Next up is Dobbo number 1. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna get the coordinates for Jobber, then we're gonna go to Jobber. Now this level is home to one of the hardest skips in the entire run, and I really didn't efficiently buy ammo. But it's like, whatever, really. There are 2 ways. One way is really dumb, and the other way is pretty dumb, but not as dumb. Not as dumb way. So what you do is you stand on this thing, you don't fall off, which is surprisingly easy. No. And a jump around here, because it sometimes loads the scenery in the next section. So we stand on here, then we double jump over here. And I missed it. Ugh, that's really annoying. There's another much cooler way to do it, which I do in my people. And I don't want to go for it, but I might as well try and show it off. Just for the sake of the marathon. So what you do is you go back here. You do a similar thing to what you do in Mactar 2 skip, but you do a mid-air long jump. It's possible without mid-air long jump, but it's hard without a mid-air long jump as well. But you know what? This I'm not going for PB, so it's like whatever happens, happens. So I'm gonna do the easy way again. We get on here. We jump over here. Then we get on that. It's really hard. Like it is, honestly, it's really hard. Like, this is the easy way and it's still hard. This is like one of the dumbest skips in the game. Most definitely. And I didn't even practice it at all before this run. Okay, got it that time. So I clip through this wall and get this bolt. We're supposed to get the spider bot, we're supposed to get this glove. This bolt, but who needs a spider bot? Not me. And also, the spider bot costs money, and money is a bad thing. So up next is the giant Clank section. There's 2 of them in the game, although we only have to do this one in this category. And this is one of the dumbest parts of the run. Not because there's any hard skips, but because it's just a dumb fight. Like, you just gotta keep shooting him and jump into him. Which is kind of hard. Because he can easily just run away from you and just completely mess you over. Like there! Like, I should have punched him, but I didn't. There are little tricks you can do to try and stop him from doing something stupid. Like, you want to manipulate where you hit him, but that doesn't always work. But this boss is really stupid. Like, sometimes it goes really well and you kill him pretty quickly. Like, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't amazing, but it wasn't too bad either. It was fine. But sometimes you'll be chasing him for like minutes. Or at least a minute. And it's stupid. So I was pretty lucky there. And the fight mainly goes well when I failed double skip multiple times. And we're just gonna reload the file to warp us back to the beginning. You can also take a car, but I just reload. And it wouldn't let me skip that cutscene for some reason. And I'm also gonna mention something. The load times. They are inconsistent and it's really stupid. There are these things called triple loads. When you watch the ship fly by, you usually see 2 cutscenes. But sometimes you see 3. And when you see 3, you lose 4 seconds. And it's 4 seconds you just cannot control. It's really dumb. Like, the load screens in these series are just dumb. Not because they look dumb, but because they're inconsistent and it's just dumb. I'm not sure about Ratchet, but Ratchet 3 has like a second longer than every other load screen in the game. And it's dumb because you lose like a second over something you couldn't control. Whoa! That was sick. But now we're going to do the jobber race. We only do this to get the charge boots. And getting the charge boots is actually extremely helpful. Like, we don't have to do this race. In theory, we don't have to do this race. But the thing is, the charge boots save, like... I don't even know how much time. They just save a ton of time. What I can say is they easily make up for the 3 minutes you lose doing this race. I want to say they save an hour off the run. Because there's so much cool stuff you do with them, you move so much faster, and there's just so many skips that are open to you once you get the charge boots. And after this race is when the run starts to get really interesting. Because the charge boots just completely change the run and just make it so much better. The charge boots are so broken that they pretty much allow us to skip Endarko in the NG Plus categories. And basically the charge boots are super crazy. And you're going to see how crazy they are once they get them. So this race is again pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's a bit more annoying than the other race because you cannot hold your boost for the entire thing, so you do have to go slow for a little bit of the race. But it's not a big deal. The race has gone pretty well so far. And getting all the boosts you need is also quite difficult. The little thing I do is I go through 2 boost pads at once because it saves some time. It gives me your boost and it's just cool. And I missed that boost pad, of course. That's the one I always miss. It's no big deal though. And the funny thing is you can get the skill point the first time you go through this track. Really, really easy. Yeah, like, you know where... I mean, in this run, you know exactly where the crystals are, so it's no big deal. At all. So now I have the charge boots. And because I have the NCU Black Label versions, you can do stuff like what I just did. You can throw decoys and you can slide up things. See, there was a little graphical glitch before it said you got Platinum Bolt. That's a thing that happens. For some reason. Wasted my ammo. So this section's pretty simple. You just go up this thing. Like, I've tried to find a skip here, and I'm still unsuccessful. Although I will eventually, hopefully I'll eventually find a way to skip this, but for now, you just got to do it. So it's not very exciting. You just go on this thing and try not to die. I'm probably like 4 minutes behind my PB, if I had to guess. Well, at least 4 minutes, I'd say. I mean, I lost like a minute and a half in job on my PB. I think I lost a little bit more in this run. Like my PB's early game was really, really good. Well, it wasn't amazing, but that Felton especially was really good. In my PB. But then I ruined it all with bloomin' Dobbo. By losing like a minute and a half. Ah! No! That went wrong. Because I killed the guy too early, so he couldn't hit the button. So I had to hit the button myself. And it's all going wrong now, because I don't have a weapon. And I'm not careful enough with what I'm doing with my movements. I was trying to side flip, but the game didn't want me to. So yeah, hopefully you've at least seen a snippet of what you can do with charge boots. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them, basically. Now we're going to revisit User and get the tractor beam. And we do it now because the charge boots make it 1,000,000 times faster. So we do this wall where that decoy did anyway. Whoa, no, that was not what I wanted. That was not what I wanted. No, I messed it up. Whoops. I was trying to do something a little bit cool. But the problem is it's hard to control where your decoys go, because sometimes they just go where they want. It's hard to control exactly where they go. I mean, that is kind of a hard question. Some would say Ratchet 1, some would say Ratchet 3. Like, this is the only category in this game which is really fun. Like, mostly I mean, 80%'s okay, but the rest of the categories kind of suck. So that's really unfortunate. But Ratchet 3 has a ton of cool movement. Ratchet 1 also has a ton of cool movement. Ratchet 2 is just in the middle. Like, it's kind of like the poor love child of the two games. It's kind of like Ratchet 2 trying to learn what its dad did, but kind of failed. It also had some neat stuff, but it was pretty undeveloped. Then when this game gave birth to its son, it just completely did everything its dad did, but better. Also, I should have bought bloomin' new camo, but I didn't. Yeah, All for One is the best Ratchet game to speedrun. It's not really. No one really likes Deadlocked as a speed game. I mean, Deadlock has some cool stuff in the speedrun, but it's just not that great of a speed game. Oh, it took me a while to pick that, but that's because my TV blanked out. And even though I knew it was on to blow up, I just didn't pick it. Yeah, this game is basically Ratchet 1's inferior dad, inferior son, and Ratchet 3's inferior dad. Because it just mixes stuff from the two games poorly. I mean, this run is still amazing, but the overall movement in this game is just a mix of Ratchet 1 and 3. It's really weird as a result. Come on. Like, sometimes you can bonk into things in this level and it's dumb. And bonking is pretty much dumb in every speedrun ever. This game shares two similarities with Super Mario 64, which I know that's a game no one wants to hear about, but it shares two similarities. Wall jumping is dumb, and bonking into things is dumb. It's crazy how this game shares two similarities to the pinnacle of speedruns. Although this game's better, that's the main difference with this and SM64. Oh my goodness, I got stuck! I got stuck! But it's okay, I still got the bolt. You're supposed to have this thing called the Terminator, which you can borrow to freeze the water and do some puzzles, but you can skip all that. And you're supposed to get like a hang glider as well, but I'm skipping that as well. Like, you can jump into a part of this water and it will make you rise. And then you can just charge boot to the end of the section here. Like, I didn't want to I didn't want to go in the water, but I did, so it's like, whatever, really. Like, it loses a little bit of time if you end up swimming, but it's not like a run kill or anything. And yes, I should buy new ammo, most definitely. And I'm gonna buy decoy ammo as well, just because why not? If I've got plenty of bolts. So we're going back to Dobbo, and this level has some cool skips. You're supposed to use the hang glider in this next level, but you can just completely skip using it, thanks to the charge routes. I mean, you can also skip them without the charge routes, but the charge routes let us do it nice and fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip through this wall. I'm going to go here. Oh no! I messed this up! It's really bad. No! I kind of messed this up. There's an invisible wall here. There's a wall here as well, which is dumb. So what I've got to do is I've got to fly like to the other side, like that. Like once I traverse more, like it'll load normally. But we do this because it's fast and we get the platinum bolt. Oh, I should have hyper strike to get that, but I didn't want to risk it. Then we just charge down here and we do the electrizer puzzle. I mean, I just gotta remember that there's a wall there and I gotta go around it whenever that happens. My angle charging through the wall is usually a lot better than that. So if your angle is good, you don't have to worry about that. Nah, we're probably at record pace. I didn't do that skip in my DB, like, I found that skip a few weeks ago. And I got my PB 9 months ago. So up next is Frugus, the next flying level. This flying level is pretty stupid though, because you have to shoot the nuke into this thing, and however many boys, I don't know how it determines it. I think it depends on your angle, but you need a pretty precise angle. Like, you can destroy all 6 of these, but it's incredibly hard. Wouldn't be surprised if it's nearly pixel perfect. So in challenge 2, you got to kill 20 of these guys. I killed 19 of them, which is good enough. Ideally, I want to kill like all 20 of them, but killing 19 is fine as well. And then we use the nuke again. Killed 10, which is not ideal. Like, I think you can kill up to like 27 of these guys. Although the most I've killed is like 23 at the most, maybe just 21. And this is where the more powerful missiles really come in handy. Like, you mainly need the more powerful guns and the nuke. Because the nuke saves a million years, and the more powerful guns also save quite a bit of time. So we have another ring challenge. So just gotta be careful in this ring challenge. I've gotta make sure I don't crash and I don't miss a ring. Because if you miss just one ring, you have to reset the whole thing. So if you miss if you miss one of the last rings, you lose like a minute. If you miss a ring early on, like, you don't lose that much, but you still lose some time. And this level has the same music as Whoopage, and the reason for that is because Whoopage was added very late into development just to teach you the flying controls. So it just reused the music from this level because they couldn't be bothered to make a new song. And that's why Wapash is so better as well. So next up we have Tadano. This level's pretty cool. I think there's 3 platinum bolts in this level. Yeah, there's 3. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Oh my goodness, why did I do a wrench jump? I should have done a decoy jump. This is pretty much Star Fox for Switch. Well, at least it was until I went on foot. This is basically Star Fox Assault HD. So we clip through there to collect our first bolt. Pretty simple stuff. Yeah, Superman 64. Definitely an easy thing to compare those flying segments to. Then we clip through here. Usually you have to wait for this Fizz Widget robot and he takes a million years, but clipping prevents that from happening. Next up, now I'm going to do something I only found out that was possible recently. Now this I've known about for ages. You clip through here and you go on the spider bot thing. Like I've known that forever. Like I've known this for a while. Okay. Oh, what's this camera? Okay. Well, something I found recently, only 2 days ago, is that normally you have to go inside there to get the platinum bolt, but you can skip that. The only thing is I found it recently and I haven't really found a consistent way to do it. I mean, it saves having to clip, and it allows you to death warp a little bit faster. But I clip back inside, so I'll have to clip out again and death warp. That wasn't even a save. That was just an accident. When I casually played this game, I'd reached the final level, and I decided, let's grind for the Zodiac. I regret doing that. Because if I grinded for the Rhino, A, it wouldn't have taken as long, and B, I would have been able to take out that final boss and that final level so much more easily. Because the Rhino is so good in this game, but the Zodiac isn't. I mean, not everyone thinks that the Rhino is good in this game. Oh my goodness, I hate it so much when the game just throws away where he shoots there. Because I don't want him to shoot me because he kills me in one hit. And if he shoots you when you land in the water, the game crashes. So you have to happen. So next up is Bolden. Bolden's cool. Bolden is a hard planet, to say the least. Oh my goodness, I can't even get in the ship. It's kind of like the level 5 Rhino in Rack 3. Except that you only get 4 shots. It's not that strong either. Once again, another triple load. I love triple loads. No, I don't. I hate them. Just wish this company knew how to make consistent load times. Bolden is cool when you do it right, but it's so hard to do right. Oh! Okay. That was close. Okay, please, jump on there. Then I just go through there and do that clip. As you've played this game casually, you have no idea how much the stuff I'm doing saves and how broken the stuff I'm doing is. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah, place. Oh my goodness, how did I get killed in one shot? The enemies don't one-hit KO you, so how did that even happen? I was trying to put a decoy in a consistent spot so that no one would kill me. Like that. And the way I do this clip is literally different to every other runner on the planet. Oh my goodness, what the heck was that? Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it! I made it. Oh, the red guys kill you in one hit. That's really annoying. And the thing is, like, later on in the game, you don't even die in one hit. Like, later enemies in the game don't kill you in one hit, but some of the enemies in this level do kill you in one hit. And the next... Okay, let's not fail the clip again. The clip really isn't that hard. Okay, got the clip. Camera, please. So that's that level done. Bolden is really stupid. Doing it fast is bloomin' impossible. Like, if there's a planet where I expect to make mistakes, it's bloomin'... It's this bloomin' planet. Next up we have Aranos 2. We're back in Aranos, but it's very different to when we first came here. And there's even a platinum bolt. Here we have our second and last Clank section. This level actually has 2 Clank sections, but we skipped one of them. Which you're going to see in a little bit. I mean, I don't think the camera is the absolute worst in this game. Like, I think the camera in Rack 3 was worse, at least in my opinion. You know, once I started running this game, I realised that the camera in this game is stupid. But then again, like, every game from this era had a terrible camera. So this section's pretty simple. There's a few little things we can do to make it faster. Although I'm pretty bad at making this place faster. What the heck? Why did he hit me twice? That's not fair! Or as Mr. Jarnot Man would say, that's not fair! Also, shout out to Mr. Jarnot Man. He also runs this academy and he's a pretty cool dude. So I kill some more enemies because that's what you do. These enemies also kill you in one hit, so that's really scary. Oh my goodness, I can't even wall jump. Although wall jumping is mainly stupid because you wall jump when you don't want to. Not because you don't wall jump when you want to, although that clearly happened there. There is a backup clip you can do in case you accidentally clip into the second Clank section, but I've only ever done that once in a run. Like, once. Out of the hundreds of times I've done this skip in a run, I've only missed it once. And I failed the skip. The skip... I usually don't fail the skip, but it does happen from time to time. Like, that jump is really dumb. Like, for some reason you... Like, the way you jump is really weird. Like, you don't just do a simple double jump and that's it. You gotta double jump in a specific way to get up. It's just really weird. The skip was first found last year, around this time. Like 11 months ago, I'd say. Even though that says you've got a checkpoint, it's lying. So that's how you're supposed to do that jump, and then you gotta do this jump. This jump's really weird when you first try it, but once you've, you know, gotten to grips with it and done the skip a million times like I have, it's not bad. So it's kind of annoying that I didn't get the skip first try, like I should have, but stuff happens. We do is that we go under here and collect a bolt. And then we die. Because using the levitation. I think it's supposed to use the levitator to get down there, but of course that's slow. And slow is not what we want. Now we have this skip, which I keep saying, like, I think it's easy. It sometimes goes wrong for no reason, but I still think it's easy. Like, people used to think it was really hard, when in reality it's cake. And that's the Ranos 2 done. Pretty slowly. Now we have our final flying segment, Gorn. We have a final glimpse at Star Fox for Switch. After this, there's no more Star Fox thing, it's just Ratchet and Clank. So this next section is stupid, because you want to kill all the enemies, but it's hard. Like, I either get this first try, or a millionth try. I got it first try, so that's good. The key is to shoot out that hill high up. Now this boss, now this fight, now this... I don't know what to say. This battle, or this mission, is kind of dumb. Because there's some god RNG you can get. I don't know the likeliness of it, but it's probably like 5%. But you can actually get new camo and potentially kill this guy in just one cycle. But the thing is, getting a new camo is so rare that that's probably not going to happen. And one cycle would save a lot as well. I got loads of Raretain, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to need it. And then we have our last Superman 64 segment. You just fly through rings. Don't miss any of them. These are really dumb if you've never played the game before. I've played this game, I've played these many times, so like I know where the rings are. And I know how to control my ship to get in the rings, but I still sometimes miss the rings, which is dumb. You can still miss the rings, even if you're highly skilled, trained like I am. And this level is really annoying, because it really deceives you where the rings are going to go. Like, there's one segment in particular which is really annoying. And anyone who's played this game casually would probably know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, this ring coming up, the ring after this one, no, the ring after this one is the annoying one. Because the game makes you think that it's ahead of you, but it's not. It's like straight to the left of you. So you go forward, you miss the ring, you're like, where's the ring? And it's dumb. Like, it's a horrible, horrible ring. But I got through it just fine. Next up is Snivelak. Snivelak has a bolt. We get the bolt. There's some nanotech here, we get it just because we can. Like, there's no problem with it. A Taz would dodge that nanotech, because a Taz could... Because if you dodge that nanotech, the enemies at the end of the game will kill you in one hit. Which, you know, is useful in some ways, but it's useless in other ways. We're gonna buy the shield right now. And guess what the shield does? Yeah, it's a shield. Like, I'm sure you can imagine what it does. The enemies in this level are really annoying because they just try and mow you when your decoy's down. Although that clip didn't go too badly. What am I doing? The shield is also quite helpful because it damages enemies, so you can kill these things a bit faster. And this is why we get the Supinator. Not only because it's right in front of our face and we might as well get it, but because it makes these bosses nice and quickly. Now, anyone who's played this game casually knows that this boss is the worst thing to ever exist. But thankfully, due to the power of our Supinator, this boss is pitiful. Like, we've just turned the worst boss in the game into a cakewalk. Like, the shield is great. Not only does it protect you, but it attacks enemies. And when it's fully leveled up, it's actually devastating. Like, it not only attacks enemies that are near you, but it deals so much damage. And when you got the charge roots and the shield, crossing the bridge is super easy. And right now, I have skipped one of the absolute worst bosses in video game history. No turret sections for me. Next up is Smolg. There are two pathways to Smolg, because we need to unlock Damosel and Grelbin. We don't go to Damosel on any other planets, which is a shame, because it's a really cool planet. But we do get to go to it in this category, and it's a pretty cool planet. But first, we've got to do Smolg. I'm going to unlock Damosel first. Ultimately, it doesn't matter which one you unlock first, really, but personally, I like to get this planet first. So first, we charge down here, go in and die. We die because it sets some cycles up for these flying ships. You can see a few flying ships in the background flying around. Those are important. And if you don't know quite what I mean, you will once I actually use them. So there's a platinum bolt here, we just fly up. This is a really annoying platinum bolt to get. I never miss it, and I nearly missed it. But it's just so annoying, because it's in such a weird position. And these were the ships I was talking about, and I'm going to ride them. Cutting them as fast. This is such a cool skip in the game, and it's so easy as well. Not facing the right way. Oh yeah, reminder that one of the Kraken Times code names was clock blockers. It's pretty interesting. Ratchet and Clank clock blockers. That sounds like quite a good, interesting name. Of course, these games have innuendos as their titles. This game's going Commando, and the sequel's Up Your Arsenal. And Sony of Europe didn't like those names, so they changed them. And as a result, the games are rated a lot lower in Europe. Like, these are teen-rated games in the US, but they're like rated 3 and up in Europe. 8-year-olds. And if you've never played this game, I don't even know how much of the game I'm skipping. I'm skipping so much of this level that it's just crazy, and I just cannot tell you. Like, it's so hard to say how much time I'm actually saving and how much I'm actually skipping, because you just skip so much. Yeah, this should be fine, but let's change it anyway. I'm still here. There's a little music glitch as well. Like, this music's supposed to shut off when you get here, but it didn't. Like, it's just a little weird glitch. Wait, what happened, guys? Are you guys saying stuff like about like splicing and stuff? What happened? This isn't spliced, I promise. No bamboozles. This is 100% legit. That's what you guys mean. Yeah, I skipped a lot of the planet. Next up is Damosel. Usually have to do a lot of stuff in Damosel, but thanks to the power of speedrunning, we skip most of it. Like, we have to collect like 2 bolts in this level. But we can get those bolts pretty quickly, skipping gadgets along the way. Did it? Okay. So the first skip I'm gonna do is I'm gonna high jump up here. Then I'm gonna ride along here. Then I'm gonna get this checkpoint. Then there's a skip here. You're supposed to use this gadget called the... I can't even remember its name, and screw its name. But it lets you control robots, but we don't have that gadget and it takes forever to get. But luckily we can just clip through this thing. It's a really easy clip. I missed it because I didn't kill enough enemies. So that was my own fault. But it's a really easy clip and anyone can do it. It might not work in the PS3 version, although I don't know. And then we just collect this platinum bolt. We're supposed to have the Terminator to get this platinum bolt, but of course we skipped it, so that's not an option. So we just do that cool jump instead. Then we jump over here. That's the part of the hypnotizer. Oh yeah, I think that's its name, the hypnotizer. That is one of the parts of the gadget that we need to get. The hypnomatic. That was a piece of the hypnomatic. They're like 3 pieces. When you collect that one, you get to watch a cool Jack and Daxter as the cutscene. And honestly, I should have kind of watched it. But I forgot. Sorry. So this next planet's Grelbin. Grelbin's pretty interesting. Missed the clip. Yeah, there's like... This game does reference Jak and Daxter quite a bit, especially Damosel. Damosel's full of Jak and Daxter. Come on, this clip's not hard. Again, it's just impossible just to tell you how much of the game I'm skipping. A lot. And a weird little thing which I'm going to mention now is that you cannot actually do decoy jumps when you're on your last decoy. Like, it's... Like, you just for some reason... It's dumb. gonna make sure I'm maxed out on everything. And we're gonna collect another platinum bolt right here. Whoa, that was not what I wanted. That was not what I wanted. The next platinum bolt is around here. Like, we go back here and the bolt's here. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to switch weapons, but I didn't want to do that. So that's just another crazy tip. Like, I just completely sequence broke the section. Like, that is not normal. But it's so hard to say what exactly you have to do. You have to collect a bunch of crystals to get the Hypnomatic. Once you collect the Hypnomatic and Damocel, you then need to come back and do a whole bunch of sections to get to this part. And point it completely crazy. Let me just save and let me just reload so that we can go to Yeedle, the final planet. And I'm good on molts. Just need to collect the last two in Yeedle. Yeedle is the final planet and it's a really hard planet. Yeedle is pretty tough. If Yeedle goes well, I can get like a 134. Yeedle is a bloomin' hard planet. Then we do this thing called slope intercepting. I haven't explained this, but it allows you to climb up walls, climb up slopes. I've done it loads of times in this run and never even mentioned it until now. All you need to know is that it's a glitch. Whoa, come on. See, we have the final level. Here we have the second part of Yeedle. We start off by skipping the whole section by going up here through some walls. Pretty simple stuff. I used to think that clip was super hard, but it's not. And this is the second use for the tractor beam in the run. We use the tractor beam to move that thing. And we go up here. We get the tractor beam. Like, it might be possible to skip the tractor beam, but since we go along its path anyway, there's no point in skipping it. And that is the end of Yeedle. All we have next is the final level. It's the final boss. And those of you who might not know the run is like, how you... Now, there are loads of powerful weapons in the run, but I have none of the powerful weapons. So how am I going to kill this boss without all the best weapons in the game? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot him in the bum for a little bit. And I'm also going to stand right next to him because the shield deals some extra damage to him. And somehow he lost even more health than he usually does. I usually stop at 132 bullets, but today case, like, he lost much more health much more quickly. So let's try that again. I'm standing in a perfect position. Wonderful. Now this is the time where people guess what the final time of the run is going to be, so feel free to guess what the final time of the run is going to be. Because this thing takes like just over 2 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna get like, I'm not gonna get 134, that's what I'm gonna say. The key to this part of the boss is to not let go of circle. That's the main key of this boss, don't let go of circle. Like the circular button on your PlayStation 2 controller is very important. You don't want it to fail you right now. Let's see which one here is right. Thanks everyone. Alright, timing ends as soon as this boss dies as well, so just gonna make sure that I say when that is. Time is going to be in like roughly 40 seconds once the boss is dead. So I'll just say time whenever it's, you know, the end. It's warm where I live. Like today's actually been pretty cold. Well, not pretty cold, but it's not been hot, which has been really nice. But it's mostly been really hot where I've been living recently. So it's nice that there's a day where it's not very hot at all. And time! That is the end of the run. No, world record is 127. So this is not world record. I missed world record by over 8. So what's the final time? Time's still running. That was 1:35 something. 1:35:21. Roughly. Yeah, I'd say that's around 1:35:20. So yeah, that was Ratchet and Clank going Commando, all platinum bolts. I hope you guys all enjoyed this run. And if you want to see some more Ratchet and Clank runs, as well as speed runs of silly children's video games such as the Incredibles video game, come and follow me on. But if you don't want to do that stuff, that's all cool. But I'm sure. But next up is probably a better game than this. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to the Shots Fired team for letting me do this run, and just thank you to everyone who was here. So yeah, thank you all, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.